Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for being here. My name is Andrew, coming to you from the beautiful Carolinas. Today's topic is going to be when the narcissist implodes. Think about that for a minute. Everyone, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. So what is an implosion? It is when something is consumed by itself and it goes inward. It is the opposite of an explosion. When something explodes, it goes out. An implosion is from within. Now, the narcissist will implode, and I can assure you they've imploded many times when you were in that relationship with them. Maybe they're imploding right now. But an implosion is something that you usually won't see. It will be when the narcissist is taking such a hit left, right, and center, and they don't have somebody to dish out the abuse on, that all that toxicity, it goes within themselves, and this is when they will implode. Now, let's go back to what an explosion is. An explosion is what you experienced when you were in that narcissistic relationship. You experienced so much toxicity. The narcissist was trying to break that relationship virtually every day. And they were driving wedges between you and anything that mattered to you. And the explosions that you experienced in that relationship, let's just take a rage fit. Well, that's when the narcissist was trying to have you regulate them, and they needed a sounding board or a punching bag or somebody to tolerate their poor behavior. And that was you. Again, you didn't know what narcissism was because you weren't taught this in school. So you kept on thinking back then that this person would improve, that this person would change, that this person could be accountable for their poor behaviors. And when they threw rage fits, that they would actually apologize and try not to do them in the future. That's not what the narcissist does. The narcissist is a petulant individual. They're entitled. They believe that people will tolerate their poor behavior as long as they stay trapped in that narcissistic abusive cycle. And to be honest with you, that part is true until you break the chains and you go no contact and block these people, etc. But the explosions that you saw in that relationship, you were present to see those explosions, or maybe you experienced the toxicity on a phone call, or maybe it was texting, or maybe it was a video call, maybe it was even an email. Now that's the explosion part. When the narcissist implodes, this is going to be a not pretty sight to see. It's going to be a place where you don't want to be anywhere near them. This is when the narcissist will have a collapse. It's when the day-to-day tasks of life will overwhelm them. And this is when they have to come to grips and to terms that they are not a healthy or stable person, and that they've driven so many wedges in all the relationships they've been a part of, and they've created so much destruction and chaos and confusion in their lives and the surrounding people that were in their lives with them. This is not a good thing. The implosion will happen. Now, let's focus on you for a moment. Have you ever imploded? I doubt it. I believe that you're a healthy, stable person, maybe even an empath. You're kind and loving, and you're in the community and on the channel to get the wisdom, to get your cup full, and to heal, and to move forward, and to close the chapter on the book of the narcissist. Basically, what you can do is you can regulate yourself. If something doesn't go your way, you accept it for what it is. You figure out how to get what you want. Example, maybe you didn't get an A on a test recently. Well, then you study harder and you get the A next semester. Or if you didn't get the job you wanted, okay, you apply a couple more times and get a different job. But you can deal with the ups and downs of day-to-day life. The narcissist cannot do this. They feel that in their tiny little brain, that Hollywood script that goes around and around and around, that must be fulfilled. And the narcissist is always rewriting that Hollywood script. And they insert any cast of characters they want for a period of time. And that period of time could be a minute, a day, a week, a month, a year, a decade of life. But the narcissist believes life for them should go one way, and it should be the way they want it to go. And when things don't go the way the narcissist wants them to go, maybe it is for a day, maybe it's for a week, maybe it's for a whole month, but when they don't go the way the narcissist wants them to go, that's when the narcissist will implode. This is the time that you won't see. This is where the narcissist will jump in their car and drive away for a couple hours and say that they'll be back later, and maybe they were gone for a half a day or a week. This is when they tell you that they have to have a girl's or a guy's weekend away. And who are they with? What are they doing? We don't know. We'll never know. This is when they tell you that they're going to go to the store at 10 o'clock at night, even though the store closed at 9 and it's a hurricane outside, but they need to get milk for tomorrow, even though tomorrow isn't a school day. You see, they need to get away. And this is what they do because they aren't getting what they need from certain people. And the toxicity in their brain is mounting. It's getting more and more and more. And eventually, all that toxicity needs to go somewhere. And many times it went into you via verbal abuse, mental abuse, emotional abuse, financial abuse, at times physical abuse, but the toxicity had to go somewhere. Now, when the narcissist doesn't have a place for that to go, This is when they will implode. This will be a very deep and very challenging narcissistic injury to these people. And what will happen is they're going to have to come to terms and to grips with who they are and what they've done in their life. And they're going to have to figure out that where they are is not where they want to be. Because imagine, if you will, being in the mind of the narcissist, even for a minute. And I know you don't want to do it, I don't either, but let's do it as an exercise for a moment. If you're in that mind, you're having to think about who you will be devaluing, who you will pay attention to, who you won't pay attention to, who you will invite to this event, who you won't invite, how you can triangulate people, how to stay later at work and cheat on your spouse, how to hide money from your spouse throughout the marriage, how to parental alienate the children from your spouse or the grandparents, how to blow up other people's workplace jobs. See, this is what the narcissist does. And you may think, well, you're being a little rough there, Andrew. No, I'm not. If you've been in a narcissistic relationship, you know exactly what I'm talking about. These people, until you get the wisdom, they're always 3 steps ahead of everybody. They're always plotting. They're always planning. They are calculated. They know which chess pieces to move around on the board to get what they want or to get other people's lives to implode. So frequently on the channel, I've mentioned the workplace narcissistic bully. And I've worked with many of these people. And what they've done is they've taken empathy from people in the workplace and weaponized it against them. Example, if the narcissist knows that you're an empath or you're a kind, loving, stable person and you need the job or you are employed by them, well, they're going to make you work longer over the weekends or your holidays or birthdays, etc. And what they will do is they'll be administering a smear campaign against you or triangulating you with other employees in other departments. See, they're trying to get the most out of you. They're trying to burn you out. They're trying to abuse you at the job. This is what they do. But when that happens, it is not a good place to be, but you need the job, and then you figure out, oh my gosh, I was working with narcissists. Never again, not gonna happen. That's a side note to let you understand that narcissism is everywhere. But the implosion of the narcissist, it will take place, using that example, when you tell the narcissist, no, I won't work weekends. No, I won't work on my birthday. And no, I am not going to be doing the work of 3 people any longer. I'll be doing the work of 1 person. You see, when you put a boundary up and you draw the line in the sand, then what can the narcissist do? They can't really do much. Now you may say, yeah, then maybe they'll fire you. Exactly, but they're gonna have to jump through hoops to get that. So all these things I'm mentioning, the narcissist will implode. This is why when they weren't with you many times, you didn't know where they would be. You believed that they were telling you that where they were was where they were. Maybe on a business trip, maybe on a seminar or something, or maybe staying late at work, etc. But you never really knew where they were when you weren't with them. And even when you were with them, you didn't know where they were because they may have been physically with you, but were they mentally with you? Probably not. They were probably checked out, probably on one of their 3 smartphones getting your replacement or other sources of supply. This is why the narcissist can't sit still. This is why the narcissist administers so much punishment to people that are trapped in the cycle, in the loop of manipulation. This is why the narcissist, when they don't have people, they will implode. Now, why I'm saying that so many times is because you have to understand the tiny mind of the narcissist. It is always trying to plot and figure out what the next move will be. And when they don't have a target or they don't have access to a target, which is why you should go no contact, then they really don't get the energy or the attention from the people that they're looking for it from. And this is a challenging place for the narcissist. Remember, the narcissist is used to having built-in supply in the household, at the workplace, in the hobby group or community or the organization or the sporting event. This is what they do. The narcissist gets supply from anything, from a pet, from a trip, from money, from your demise, from health concerns, from stealing people's energy and stealing people's anything. This is what the narcissist does. But when they no longer have access to the level of assets and or people that they used to have, i.e. when the narcissist is losing, they're getting a little rusty, they're losing their A game, this is when their life will really implode. This is when they turn into what I call the aging narcissist. Now, we all know what the aging narcissist is. First of all, it's not a pretty sight to see, but second of all, this is when these people's lives really go sideways. However, when the narcissist implodes, it's not exclusive to the aging narcissist. The narcissist could be 20 years old and imploding right now. Why? Because their best friend, wink, wink, is dating the person that they want to be dating, and they're not getting the supply. See, they're in competition with everybody, including their best friends. And when they don't get what they want, they need to regulate themselves. And if they don't have somebody around them to regulate themselves, this is when they're going to take that car drive, or they're going to go somewhere, or they're going to triangulate somebody. But they're going to have to stay within their tiny little brain because they need to understand exactly how much damage they've inflicted upon other people. Now, will they really sit down and process this and say to themselves, wow, I've really created so much damage? No. They'll do it for a minute, maybe a minute and a half, 2 minutes. Then they're going to snap themselves right back into that dark pitch blackness place where they exist, and they're going to say, okay, that was a little painful to me, process that, so I'm not going to do it. I'll get back on my A game. I'll get back out after that implosion was over, and I'll go back out and ruin more people's lives. But think about this, when you were in the relationship, think about how often, and it wasn't as often as perhaps other experiences you went through, but sometimes you would see the narcissist not wanting to get out of bed, or not wanting to go to work, or they seemed themselves like they were a little bit vulnerable. There's your implosion right there. Now, they're not going to come out and tell you that they're a narcissist. They're not going to come out and tell you that the truth, that in their tiny little brain it's catching up with them, and all of these lies they've told and all the manipulative tactics that they've administered are catching up with them. They're not going to tell you that, because if they did, you would have run for the hills. But again, this is what the narcissist does. There are times when they appear to be vulnerable, and this is when they show you that childlike mentality, and this is when they say words and you're like, where did that come from? I'll tell you where it came from. It came from a place of vulnerability. Now, do I feel sorry for the narcissist? Not for a second, absolutely not. But the narcissist is still a human being, and they show you exactly who they are throughout that relationship. The thing is, back then you didn't know what you know now, and now you can't unsee what you've seen, and now you have the wisdom that you've acquired through your experiences in the narcissistic relationship and in the community that are provided for you, and that equals all of your wisdom that you've acquired. But you will see, or you have seen in the past, the narcissist, every once in a while they would appear to be vulnerable, and they would say something that caught your attention, like, where did that come from? You were almost human. Like, I don't get it. That's the tiny little child popping out, saying, I'm here, and I'm repressed, and I can't get out that often, but I wanted to get out and say something to show you that I have a tiny little bit of humanity inside of me. Now again, do I feel sorry for the narcissist? Not for a moment, absolutely not. Every moment, every day when they wake up, they have the decision to stand for rightness and goodness and fulfillment and betterment of humanity, or to destroy it. And they choose the latter every single day. But what is inside of the tiny brain of the narcissist is all the toxicity that's adding up, all the toxicity that fills their brain, all of the broken relationships that they've destroyed, all of the parental alienation tactics that they've used, all the weapons that they've administered to their own family members, their own children, their own spouses, their friends, their colleagues, everybody. This becomes insurmountable. And when it does, the narcissist at times, they need to flush it away. They need to flush all the toxicity away and have a reset. That is when it implodes for the narcissist. So let's imagine, if you will, that the narcissist went away for a weekend. And let's say that they went wherever, but they weren't with you. So what was the narcissist doing? Well, there's a chance that they were literally unplugging. I'm not saying sitting at the beach, watching the beautiful ocean and journaling and meditating. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that they unplugged. Maybe they rented a room somewhere, went pitch black, radio silent, turned their phone off, and had to deal with the demons inside of their mind for 72 hours. And then what did they do after they came out of that catacomb of manipulation and that catacomb of abuse and darkness? Well, then they arose again. They turned the light switch on, and they said, okay, I've regulated myself. I didn't do it with a person. I did it with myself, and I had to really implode, and it was not a fun 72 hours being in my body and being in my mind, but I had to do that, and I'll have to do that more and more in the rest of my life. This is what they do at times. Now, I'm not saying that every narcissist is the same. They all come in different shapes, sizes, and intelligent levels, and etc. But they do all implode. And that example I just shared with you, it may or may not pertain to the narcissist that you knew. But think about it. When the narcissist wasn't with you, and let's say it was a weekend they went away, did they actually go where they went? You don't know. You'll never know. Did they actually tell you the truth of where they went? Probably not. Did they paint it like they were going on some beautiful weekend trip skiing in Aspen or going to the Colorado mountains for a weekend? Yeah, they maybe told you something like that, but there's a very good chance, or a chance I should say, that they were right down the street in a hotel, in a flea bag-ridden hotel with the lights off, with a TV on blaring, and they were dealing with all the toxicity inside of their tiny little feeble brain. That is a possibility. We will never know what actually goes on in the mind of the narcissist, other than they continue to want to destroy people's lives. They continue to want to drive wedges between people and anything that matters to them, and that these people need to regulate themselves. And there are times when the narcissist will not have a sounding board or a person to regulate themselves. And there are times when even the narcissist knows that this amount of abuse that they're going to dish out, perhaps could be insurmountable for their regular source of supply, i.e. their spouse or whoever they normally give it to, their friend, etc. So there are also times, before I close the video, that they just go off by themselves and they have to really face the demons for a weekend, or unplug and go pitch black, go dark, and recharge their battery. And then when they wake up out of that little 72-hour respite, if you will, then they say, okay, that's over with, it's done, I'm so grateful I'm out of that thing. Oh my God, oh, what do I have to do? Oh, that's right, let's get back and abuse my husband. Let's get back and abuse my wife. Let's get back and abuse the workplace employees. Let's get back on our A game and figure out a plan on how to drive some more wedges and blow up more people's relationships, and how to acquire and accumulate so much from other people. This is what they do. Now again, I'm not saying every narcissist does this, but there are many times that you've seen the explosions of the narcissist because you were around them. And there are times when you were not around to see the implosions of the narcissist. And there are also times that they didn't want anyone to see those implosions. So that's when they self-isolate themselves and recharge their battery, and they get their cup full of all the pitch blackness. That's how the narcissistic abusive cycle goes around and around in a loop. And that is why you need to go no contact and block these people, and not give them the time of day, not let them know your whereabouts or what you're doing. Because the narcissist cannot change. They only get worse over time. They deteriorate. They do not grow. They do not improve. They know it. And this is why the narcissist ultimately will implode as they get older, more and more and more. And this is why when all of the broken relationships that the narcissist has created throughout their lives, when these all add up and add up and add up, then the supply sources for the narcissist are dwindling more and more and more. And people are becoming more and more in tune and awakened and educated and empowered. And they understand that it's the narcissist that is the one common denominator in all these broken relationships. It wasn't the spouse, it wasn't you, it was the narcissist. And they know this. And think about this before I close the video. Every night when you go to bed, you put your head on the pillow and you say that, wow, I had a great day today, or I need to improve in a couple areas, but I did the best I could. And tomorrow will be a better day, and I will do the best I can tomorrow. That's not what the narcissist says. They wind themselves down on one of their 3 smartphones. They string new people along, fishing for the next new supply. They think about what they did today and what they will do tomorrow, and how to drive more wedges between people, and how to create more drama, and how to start a new lie and give it breath, i.e. the smear campaign. This is what these people do. It's what they're doing right now. So everyone, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it from the beautiful Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon, evening, or morning, no matter where you are on the planet. You are not alone. Remember that. You are not alone. I love you all. God bless you. And there's a big difference between an implosion and an explosion. You don't want to be around for either of them. But the truth is, when you're in that relationship, you were around for so many explosions that the narcissist had to throw. The implosions, you will never be around for those, because this is when the narcissist needs to disappear wherever they are, whomever they're with, if they're with anybody, and probably they're not. This is when they really have to face those demons, and they really have to process these things for a couple moments or maybe a couple days, and then they recharge their battery and they get right back on that horse of abuse. This is why you really need to run for the hills from these people. I love you all. God bless you, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. All right, bye.